I don't know if you guys remember, but at the end of last week's video, I told you I had to put my hands on a product called Umeshu in order to create a cocktail to respond to the challenge Leandro from the EDUCATED Barfly gave me. So I just got back to see my friend Alexander, who owns a company called L'Eau et le Riz, which is a company of private importation of sake wine and other beautiful product from Japan. So he gave me this bottle of Umeshu, which I never tried before, and to be honest with you guys, I never tried Umeshu at all in my whole life. So I thought it would be fun to open it up together, see how it tastes like before creating the cocktail. So if you guys are ready, let's crack this bottle open right now. Let's go. Alright, so first let's talk a little bit about what Umeshu is. So my friend told me there's two categories. The first one would be a spirit based, and Soshu would be used most of the time. And in the second one, the one that we will be using today, sake is used as the base. Both of them has Japanese plum infusion, and they also both have a little bit of sugar in it. So I never tried them, but I assume they are really different. So if you want to replicate the recipe that I will make today, I highly recommend you stick to a sake based version. So let's give it a try. All right, you really get the sake and the plum. It has a hint of bitterness, and just a hint of bitterness, which I think will be very interesting in cocktails. And even though there's a little bit of sugar in it, there's also a little bit of acidity, which also will probably work really nicely in cocktails. But it is very, very light. The mouthfeel is not like burning like alcohol, so you have to be careful not to lose it in a cocktail. It's not gonna stand out easily. It has a dry finish as well. If I would have to compare this to some kind of known product, I'd say it probably would fall in the category of Lillet. Even though it is totally different in taste, the mouthfeel, the sugar, the acidity would probably be in that range. I actually see myself enjoying this as is. It is very good, but that is not the challenge today. I have to create a cocktail with that, so I'm gonna need a few hours to think about it, and we're gonna see you in the kitchen with the recipe that I'm gonna come up with. So for you, it's gonna be just like right now. So see you in the other room. Alright guys, so we're ready to make a cocktail, and let's be honest here, it's been a few days between the intro shot and this one because it took me a little longer than I thought to create a cocktail that would really make of the Umeshu the star of the show. It was actually quite challenging because let's face it, sake Umeshu is really good, but it's also very subtle, so it's really easy to lose it in the process. I've made some very good cocktails with it, but to my opinion, none of them were really paying justice to the Umeshu. It's actually Sephra who had the idea of sticking to the Japanese theme all the way with this one and mixing miso paste and nori sheet into the cocktail. Sephra's my girlfriend, and she's also the food part of Truffles on the Rocks, so she has a very good instinct when it comes to flavors. So I was a little bit intrigued by her idea, that's true, but I also trust her. So we gave it a try and it was amazing. So let's not wait any longer and make that cocktail together. So for this recipe, we're sticking to the Japanese theme all the way, as I said. So we're using 3/4 of an ounce of Nikka Coffee grain gin. It is a beautiful citrus forward gin that is 94 proof, so it's gonna stand out quite well into the cocktail because we're not using a lot, but we want to have that cocktail-like mouthfeel with strong spirit. So a little bit of gin with that 1.5 ounces of sake Umeshu. And now for the sweetened part, we're using 3/4 of an ounce of nori sheet simple syrup. So basically 1 cup of hot water with 1 sheet of nori. You bring that to a simmer, add a cup of sugar, dissolve it, let that cool down, filter it, bottle it up, and you're good to go. If you don't want to go through the whole process of making the syrup, you can just add a few pieces of nori sheets into your shaker, and that's gonna work as well. Then for the miso paste, just the tip of a knife will be plenty enough. It's gonna act a little bit as a pinch of salt in a recipe. kind of things that you don't really notice when it's there, but if it's not, then you notice it because it's not as good. And then to complete that, we need a little bit of acidity, so we're gonna use 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lime juice. And that's it. Now we're just gonna fill the shaker with ice, give it a very good shake, and strain it into your favorite chilled cocktail coupe. So in this case, especially if you're using nori sheets instead of the nori syrup, you really want to fine strain it because you want to get rid of all the little shards of the nori sheets and also a little bit of the sediment that the miso paste can leave. Then for the garnish, simply cut a little piece of nori sheet and clip it next to the cocktail glass. It's going to release some very nice aroma. It's going to enhance the nori flavors, and it should taste really good. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt, but there's an important message I have to deliver. Well, you know, when I shot the video, I was home alone with Leah, and Sifra was not there, and I took the liberty to clip the garnish next to the cocktail on the glass instead of putting a piece of nori on the cocktail as we made when we created the cocktail together. And we realized afterward that it was taking away a lot of flavors. So if you want to do the right way, just don't bother with a pin clip and just throw a little piece of seaweed on top of your cocktail and it will taste better. So that's it. Back to the regular program. Bye. Bye-bye. And this, my friend, is how you make the Fushizo my miso. Cheers. It is very light and refreshing, and the fact that the Umeshu is only 9% of alcohol makes it very smooth. But the addition of overproof gin in it gives a lot of body to the cocktail, which in this case I believe was very important. Then the nori sheet adds a lot of flavors that obviously pairs really well with the plum sake wine. Then the miso adds just a hint of saltiness that makes you salivate and makes you want to go back right away. Then the lime over the lemon for the acidity choice was just for the floral notes of the lime that again pairs really well with the umeshu. So I'm not gonna say it is delicious even though I think it is because we created it, but I highly recommend you guys try it. Leave me your thoughts in the comments below. Leandro, I hope you're gonna think this fulfills the challenge. That's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit the like button and the bell if you want to be notified when I post a new video. Until then, have a wonderful weekend. See you next week. Cheers.